Hey, what's going on, guys? Behind me, I have my friend Sean's car. I think he's hiding, but he came to me the other day and said, hey, I need a clutch in my car. So we have a ton of parts here that we're all going to be installing on this car in this video. And yeah, he's been having a little bit of issues. Came over a few times. We were trying to mess with it a little bit, but came to the final conclusion that we're just going to completely tear it apart and rebuild the whole clutch system. So without further ado, we're going to get started on it. So enjoy.
Sean's been coming to me with issues with his car for the time I've known him. I met him one time at the track last year, and it was really bothering me how many issues he was having with this car. So when he came to me and asked me if I could help him put a clutch in the car, I said, absolutely, man. Car people need to help other car people out. I had experience of this with my 2015 WRX STI, so it was just kind of relearning everything. As you see, we kind of just kept going with the flow, and actually, he was telling me this was the most mechanical thing that he has done to this point, so he actually did a very good job and understood what I was trying to show him and teach him and everything like that, so go Sean. On another note here, though, we are just taking things off like the starter, the master cylinder. I think Sean was working on getting the downpipe off right there, but just a couple things that you can't really get good on camera, so we were just trying to knock those out of the way. Also the pitch stop, so yeah.
So we got some of the easy stuff out of the way with the starter, the pitch stop bolt. You can see the pitch stop is still in there. And we're getting the downpipe off on the top here. We're gonna go start tearing apart the front suspension to be able to get the axles out. So let's get to that.
The suspension setup on this car is actually one of the easiest suspension setups that I've ever taken apart compared to like my Camaro or my new WRX. Like, all I had to do is remove those two shock bolts as you see there, and we were able to get everything out of the way to get the axle out, which to me was actually shocking because I think even on my 15 STI I had to fight with it a little bit more than even what we did here. So Sean also did just put these BC Racing coilovers on the car and has not got it aligned yet, which is why I felt very entitled to just take the shocks off. So before you guys go out saying something about alignment, he knew that he needed to get one anyways. Here we move on to getting the downpipe out of the way, as well as the full exhaust to be able to get the drive shaft and ultimately the transmission out of the way. But this was one of the easiest exhaust systems to take off too. I don't know if it's just because I remember all the bad things that happened with the way my car was with the clutch setup or not, but honestly everything here was very simple to get out. To be fair, this car actually does look very good for having almost 200,000 miles on it. This isn't the original motor. I don't think it was the original transmission either, so probably the thing that helped us out too is it has been apart before, and the guy that did actually take it apart before put grease on everything, so even if some of the bolts looked really bad, they actually came out with very much ease. And the only broken bolt we actually had was the third bolt that I ever took off of his car, which was a cross-threaded shifter mounting bolt, which again wasn't even my fault. It was just how the cookie crumbled. But in all honesty, again, everything just came apart, thankfully. Still, as you see, there's some rust getting flown out, but you'll have that.
So guys, as we are still tearing stuff apart here, just about every single bushing that we've taken apart has been completely clapped out. So that's why I took away the bracket the way I did, was for make it easier to get the bushings out, because that is pretty bad. Let's look at that. Like, that's cute. So let's keep rolling. There it goes. There it goes.
I honestly should have handed Sean my GoPro and had him record what he was working on as well, because I only recorded what I was working on and what him and I were maybe working on together. But as you see here, we got the bell housing bolts out of the way, and honestly one of the easiest transmission pulls I ever had in my life.
Just like that, guys, the transmission is out. We don't have the car high enough in the air to actually get it all the way out. It took a lot longer than what the camera showed, but that's how YouTube goes. So get the clutch out and put the new one in and start installing a bunch of new parts. Alrighty guys, we just pulled the clutch off here. You can definitely tell that it's getting wore down to the point where it was gonna start slipping, but it's kind of like one of those things was why we're in there, because we kind of thought the clutch fork was going to be the big issue, but there's definitely some heat marks, and yeah, but either way, we are going in with a new ACT clutch. So let's finish up taking the flywheel off and get started putting this on.
Kind of talking out of order here, but if you guys are struggling to get a transmission pulled on that, any type of EJ motor or Boxster motor, just like in the WRXs, really focus on looking at the dowel pins. If they're rusted, just kind of knock them back out of the way. That's what really actually saved us from struggling a lot more than what we did, because that's kind of just one thing I remembered of what to do. And yeah, it's just a little bit of knowledge as you learn throughout working on cars and everything like that. But yeah. And as you guys see here, we are going back together with an ACT 6-puck street clutch, which Sean picked out because he really likes ACT and wanted something that would definitely hold the extra power, because his car does make probably high 300s wheel horsepower. It has a bigger turbo and honestly a little bit of a built EJ, but he doesn't know for sure because he bought the car used off of one of his friends that also said it had a built clutch in it, which it clearly didn't. So yeah. As you see there's a 6-puck clutch. Actually, the first time I ever put a clutch in that wasn't full, but good enough there. Yeah, Sean has been driving it around. He says it's been really nice and comfortable, which is the best thing, especially for a street-driven type clutch. And as you see, we torqued everything. 67 foot-pounds on the flywheel and 25 on the clutch disc, as well as 17 on the little ball pivot that I think you're going to see right here.
Alright guys, we're going in with a new shifter pivot here. Obviously the old one looks pretty wore. New one looks as new as it can be, so yeah, let's keep going.
And after we got the transmission back in, I ultimately apologized about not really recording anything, but it was also 3 o'clock in the morning and all 4 of my batteries were just about dead. But everything went back together just the way that we took it apart. Nothing really pointed out to us saying that, hey, we might need to preface that or anything like that. And we bled the master cylinder, got everything back in place, and everything was just as flawless as it was actually coming out. Other than it was a 9-hour process, everything just worked.
Alright guys, it is 4:30. The car made it out of the garage and we did take it on a little test drive and everything went well. Sean even hit a raccoon, so everything's good there. And that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.